Welcome aboard, everybody. It's Captain D. Today we're taking a cross-country flight in the Cirrus. We're going to go from Windover, Utah to Pasco, Washington. Our flight plan today is LCU Victor 253 to Boise, Victor 4 Pendleton, Victor 298 Jin Lee. We're going to fly at 14,000 feet today. We do have a couple of things to contend with, one being there is a TFR from surface to 11,000 feet over Monument Peak. Shouldn't be a factor in our flight, but it's good to be aware of nonetheless. And the next thing we need to be aware of is we do have a moving weather pattern towards our destination, as well as one just short of our destination. The moving weather pattern may be closer to the destination or over the destination by the time we get there, depending on how fast the weather's moving. So that's something we got to keep an eye on. Winds aloft today, we're going to go between 14 and 16. I think we'll probably go at 14, so we'll have a negative 35 knot headwind, giving us a 3 hour and 3 minute flight time and 49.6 gallons of fuel. So this is a pretty long flight, so what I'll do is I will video the takeoff and climb to cruise. Once we get into cruise, I'll just go ahead and cut the cameras off and we'll pick it back up during the descent. So let's go ahead and get it out there and get the airplane ready to go. Alright, I think we're ready to get our clearance. Salt Lake City Center, November 22 Charlie Delta.
22 Charlie Delta, Salt Lake Center, stand by. 22 Charlie Delta, Salt Lake Center, go ahead.
22 Charlie Delta, Cirrus SR22 Slant Golf on the ground, Wendover, looking to pick up our IFR to Pasco.
22 Charlie Delta, clear to Pasco Airport as filed. Maintain 14,000. Salt Lake Center, frequency 133.25, squawk 3431, hold for release.
Two Charlie Delta is cleared to Pasco as filed. Climb and maintain 14,000, 132.25, 3431, 22 Charlie Delta.
22 Charlie Delta, read back correct, and advise ready.
We'll advise ready for departure, 22 Charlie Delta.
8 Zulu, change my frequency 125.57.
Alright, there's no ATIS here that we can pick up, but the wind is 360 at 10 knots. So we're going to want to taxi to runway 30. And center November 22 Charlie Delta, we're ready to go. Windover traffic, Cirrus SR22 taxiing to runway 30 via Alpha 1.
TC Charlie Delta, release for departure clearance, board if not off in 3 minutes, if not off in 3 minutes, advise intentions not later than 5 minutes, change to riser frequency approved.
Release for departure, void if not off in 3 minutes, will advise with intentions if not off within 5 minutes, 22 Charlie Delta. Alright, I think we're ready to go. Release the parking brake. Windover traffic, Cirrus SR22 departing runway 30 Windover. Airspeed's alive. $50 knots. 60 knots. 70 knots. 75. Looking for 85. There's an 85. A little bit of back pressure right off the runway. Yaw damper on. Windover traffic, Cirrus SR22, November 22 Charlie Delta is on the upwind off runway 30 on a northbound IFR departure, Wendover. Alright, we'll make our turn to the north here, watching the terrain. Salt Lake Center, November 22 Charlie Delta, just off Windover, climbing through 6,200 for 14,000. Salt Lake Center, November 22 Charlie Delta, 7,300. I do not think that's the right frequency. Alright, let's figure that out. So, autopilot on. Nav, altitude, indicated airspeed. There we go. And we'll find the right frequency. Go back to 122.2 and tell them that the frequency is not coming through. Salt Lake Center, November 22 Charlie Delta. Salt Lake Center, November 22 Charlie Delta. Well, for some unknown reason here, I am not getting a response from ATC. Center, November 22 Charlie Delta, how do you hear? Center, November 22 Charlie Delta, how do you hear? Well, that's strange. We're connected to the network. I wonder what's going on with the radio here. Alright, we're above 10,000. We'll go ahead and turn on the oxygen. Center, November 22 Charlie Delta, how do you hear? Alright, so I guess we're just going to squawk 7600 for no comms and figure out what's going on here. Try COM 2. Center, November 22 Charlie Delta, how do you hear? Nothing. 132.25. Center, November 22 Charlie Delta, how do you hear? Looking at the chart, there's a frequency close to us, 128.55. We'll try that one. Salt Lake Center, November 22 Charlie Delta, how do you hear?
Thank you, Salt Lake City, altimeter 3020, landing north, cross plane at 1916,000.
Salt Lake Center, November 22 Charlie Delta. How do you hear?
22 Charlie Delta, Salt Lake Center. You're 5x5. How do you read me?
22 Charlie Delta, 5x5. We were given a frequency of 132.25. Looks like that's a dead frequency, so I was trying to figure out everything. I'll get my squawk code fixed. I am at 14000 on course.
22 Charlie Delta, I believe the frequency is 133.25, which you were trying to get to. 133.25. Once you get your squawk code in, if you could ident for me and say altitude.
13325, and we'll get the squawk code in and ident, and we are at 14000 level.
Delta 1412, contact Los Angeles Center, 124.62.
She didn't correct me on the readbacks. Maybe that was my mistake. 3431.
261 Mike off, turn left, direct Spain, descend and maintain flight level 240. FedEx, number 18 golf, fly heading 330, vector for Spain, descend and maintain 16,000. Delta Lima, fly heading 350, vector for sequence, descend and maintain flight level 240. Delta 824 Los Angeles Center, thank you. Correction, Salt Lake. Yeah, so 22 Charlie Delta, item.
22 Charlie Delta, here's the flash.
So 22 Charlie Delta, radar contact 10 miles south of Lucin VOR, maintain 14000.
Maintain 14000, 22 Charlie Delta.
Correction, 22 Charlie Delta, Canet altimeter actually is not reporting. Stand by. American 576, contact Salt Lake Center.
Alright, so here's the
128.72, 2870.
Lucin VOR. We're about 7 miles from it. So the position checks there. And then what I was mentioning earlier is the G5 air manager gauge or panel that I have on an extra screen as a backup.
Turn left direct Spain, rejoin the departure. Correction, arrival.
And I also have a fuel selector there just so I don't have to look down to see what fuel tank I'm on. And with this G5 you can do an HSI or a PFD, where it gives you all the standard information. Eventually I'll get this put in a bezel and add it to the panel, but it's a pretty nifty little gauge there, especially for backup, or if you're looking at a different view or something, you can still have instruments to fly. Unfortunately, still haven't figured out a way to get rid of that.
FedEx 751, contact Salt Lake Center, correction, Salt Lake City, approach 128.1. 751 Salt Lake City, approach 128.1. United 1903, same log number.
Alright, so looking over here on the tablet, I see that we do have a little bit of weather off to our right here.
261, my golf contact Salt Lake Center, 128.1.
And then over Baker City there's a cell of weather. And that weather we talked about in the briefing is already over the airport, so hopefully it'll move on, but it's a rather large cell, so should be interesting. On the approach. So we've been in the air right now about 36 minutes.
Salt Lake City, altimeter 3020, cross Dana, maintain 16,000.
We're in cruise. We're getting a ground speed of 158 knots. We've got a 24 knot headwind with a 16 knot crosswind component. So we're crabbing quite a bit.
Delta 824, affirmative.
Like I was talking about in the last video, there's this bug here. If you get a cylinder head temperature warning even after they go down, the
FedEx 751, Salt Lake City,
caution message doesn't go away all the time.
No 107 Bravo Kilo.
As you can see here, all of the CHTs are good there below the yellow.
Make sure you're on the frequency. Pasco 103, get you back in sequence here, turn right, heading 070. Affirmative.
Beautiful weather outside the airplane right now.
Turn right, heading 350, vector for Seacom.
We're about ready to cross out of the Utah Ortho.
Delta 8, November 8, Delta Lima.
I do have Idaho Ortho in, but there are some spots like over here that it just doesn't cover.
Delta Lima, reduce speed to Mach 0.72 or less.
Alright, well we've got an estimated time en route now of 2 hours and 23 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and shut off the cameras.
261, my golf contact Salt Lake
And
City,
we'll pick them back up closer to the destination.
Light train, ceiling 6,500 overcast, temperature 16, dew point 8, altimeter 2993, arriving and departing runway 12, visual approaches in use, read backhaul runway assignment and hold short instructions, advise on initial contact you have information Delta. TRI Cities Airport, ATIS information Delta. 2353 Zulu, wind 130 at 15, visibility 10, light train, ceiling 6,500 overcast, temperature 16, dew point 8, altimeter 2993, arriving and departing runway 12, visual approaches in use, read backhaul runway assignment and hold short instructions, advise on initial contact you have information Delta.
Cirrus 22 Charlie Delta, contact Chinook approach 128.75.
128.75, 22 Charlie Delta. Chinook approach, November 22 Charlie Delta, 1,400 feet.
Cirrus Sirius.
Or 14,000, sorry.
Verify altitude 14,000, not 1,400.
14,000, 22 Charlie Delta, sorry about that.
22 Charlie Delta, thank you. Tri-Cities altimeter 299 for information. Delta's current. Do you have an approach request?
We have the information Delta, and we are requesting the GPS Yankee approach into runway 12.
Air 22 Charlie Delta, I can get you direct hill up, Hotel India Lima, Oscar Bravo, and I'll just do the procedure turn.
22 Charlie Delta, I was just about to suggest that. We can take direct hill up anytime. Must have had a shift change in the middle of that.
Air 22 Charlie Delta, roger, clear direct hill up, cross hill up at 5,000 or above, cleared, RNAV Yankee runway 12 approach, report inbound procedure.
22 Charlie Delta direct to Helob, cross Helob 5,000 or above, cleared for the approach runway 2, report inbound procedure turn. 22 Charlie Delta. Alright, so we're direct hill up for the procedure turn.
Air 22 Charlie Delta, Tri-Cities Tower, wind 130 at 13, runway 12, clear to land. American 1943, contact Los Angeles Center 133.2. Southwest 1546, contact Oakland Center 125.75.
Landing flaps are in, we'll add some power.
Runway 703, Denver Center, Denver altimeter 3005, landing west tonight.
And we're going to park transient parking.
Southwest 1546.
So we're pretty much going to want to either land long
Modesto,
or...
altimeter 3002, capital is landing north, runway 35 left is in use.
Alright, 3.2 miles from Zapov, which is the final approach.
Go ahead. So Redwood 703, I think I know what you're asking, but just to clarify all bases, runway transitions or landing direction always is in relationship to the runway. So west would be runway 27, 26, etc. Due to the wind at Denver currently, they are only departing and landing runway 25 and runway 26.
A little bit of rain. Coming up on minimums. There's our minimums, runways made, we're landing.
Southwest 1546, contact Mark Calibridge 120.905. The 22 Charlie Delta, you parking on the southeast side here off at Delta?
Affirmative, transient parking for 22 Charlie Delta.
32 Charlie Delta, taxi to parking via Delta, and have a wonderful night.
Taxi to parking via Delta, 22 Charlie Delta. Thanks for the service tonight. Great job.
Thanks.
I hope everybody enjoyed the flight. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for future flights. Until then, see you next time.